Hello, welcome to the Isla Paradiso bunch, episode 76. This is Carrots here, and I've got a group of Sims travelling to France, Champs-les-Sims, to be precise. The group that are travelling are Benjie and Bertie, a pair of plant sim toddlers. Craig, a young adult human who will see quite a lot of this episode. Geri, a genie child. Hayley, a genie young adult who is Geri's mother. Judy is a witch and a young adult, and she is the mother of the two little plant sim toddlers. Sam, another young adult human, and finally Wendy, another genie child. Wendy and Geri are twins. Now, I tried to age Benjie and Bertie up in their home in Isla Paradiso, but this save is getting very old and very cluttered, and it just wouldn't age them up for me. So I've taken them to France in the hope of aging them up there. And if those of you who know how to play this game, you'll know that I'm in for a world of trouble. That's a big mistake. That's Judy playing in the sprinkler. This story has been going on for quite a long time now. The first video was posted on YouTube on the 1st of January 2017. I'd been playing the game for a while before I decided to start using it for videos. And some of the Sims in it, particularly Judy, I have had in numerous games, and she's one of the Sims that I go to regularly. The genies were all in my library, and I hadn't played them for a long time, but they were made way back when Supernatural first came out. And the other Sims in it were either born in this game or I'm made specially for this game. The save is quite old. I've used a lot of mods in this save, and there's supposed to be a maximum of 8 Sims in a household, and I've got a lot more than 8 Sims that live in this household. And their house back in Isla Paradiso is full of things they've brought home from their travels in France, China and Egypt. And these saves don't last forever, and this one is getting very unstable at the moment, and it's caused me quite a lot of trouble. But I'm persevering because I want to get it finished. The thing I've been aiming at is getting all of the parts of the tomb collection in one save. I've come across a bug that was preventing me from completing the final group of tombs in France. So what I did was I took Craig and Judy out of this save and made a brand new save, and I've managed to complete those tombs, but it's not part of the original save. However, you won't notice the difference when you see the video that I got of them completing the tombs underneath the Nectary, which is what is going to start happening from this episode through until the end of this series. I think there'll be about 3 or 4 episodes to come, and then I will end the game. I might use the Sims in another one somewhere else at some point. Because they've done so much adventuring and their visa points have gone up high and they've earned lots of simoleons, they've been able to buy this castle. So they've got heaps of room and a nice view, and they've planted themselves a rather large garden with sprinklers, and inside they're just like at home. They can buy extra things and they can build things and do what they want. It's just like being at home, except they're in France. Except, of course, they can't age while they're in France or China or Egypt. So little Sims who arrive as toddlers will still be toddlers when they go home again. Now, Craig has gone to look for an adventure on the adventure board, and he got an opportunity: cafe quality cooking. Help needed. The cafe's executive chef has come down with something and he is unable to cook for us. We need someone to bring in 4 single-serving meals of great or better quality to the cafe manager, Albert Fauchier. We will trade you some high-quality produce for the meals, as well as a reasonable fee. So Craig ran off to go and start cooking. I find it is useful to get their skills up high so that when they get these sort of adventures, it's easy for them to do them. And these adventures are good if you're trying to build visa points, because they're just simple little things, and you still get the visa points and simoleons. So Hayley turned up, searched the adventure board, and she got herself an adventure. Hankering for old nectar. I haven't tasted well-aged nectar in too many years. I'm willing to part with some ancient coins in exchange for a bottle of great quality nectar. If one is found, please deliver a bottle to a thirsty Yves Bernard as soon as possible. I recommend searching the tunnels underneath the Nectary. Hayley already had a suitable bottle of nectar in her inventory, so she raced off to the Nectary to deliver the nectar, and she got her visa stamped. I find it's useful to collect lots of bottles of nectar because there are lots of adventures where where you've got to deliver nectar. And if you've already got a heap in your inventory, you don't have to go searching for it. Back at home, the sprinklers are causing lots of activity in their garden. I find they're either mopping up the pathways where the sprinklers have wet, or they're playing in the sprinklers. Occasionally, I manage to get them to tend the gardens. Since the toddlers are ready to be aged up to child, there's no toddler skills they need to learn. So I'm very thankful they've got their imaginary friends to play with. But they sometimes do need attention, especially when they get tired. There's little Bertie and Benjie there getting ready for bed. They're the first plant sims. I gave hair and changed the colour of their hair. I think I prefer the original plant sim coloured hair. I can tell them apart this way. They were identical and I never knew which was which. Now I try to remember that it's Bertie who's got the blonde hair and Benjie is the redhead. It's time for the two little girls to go to sleep too. They're getting quite well travelled. They spent a lot of time in China and now we've got them in France. That's little Geri that's just gone to sleep there in the grey bed, and Wendy is about to get into the brown bed with the floral sheets. Good night, girls. Next morning when they all woke up, it was time to travel home to Isla Paradiso. And here we are. We're having a birthday party. There's going to be 2 birthdays, one after the other. One of them's for Benjie and the other one is going to be for Bertie. We've got everybody at home. The Little Mermaid toddler is Terry King. He is a clone of Triton King. He's not quite ready to age up yet. He's still got some toddler books to read, but he will be aging up soon. Genie is going to hold Bertie and help him blow out his candles, and gradually the rest of the household is turning up. There's Craig. Judy's there somewhere. She's the witch with the long red hair that we just saw before. She's actually the mother of the 2 little plant sim boys, so I was surprised that it was Genie who has decided to hold Bertie and blow out his candles. And Judy also is the mother of little Terry King because she cloned him from some DNA she got from Triton King. I've been trying to age these little boys up for quite a while now, but the game hasn't let me because it's Isla Paradiso and there's so many sims in this house and the save is so old that it's just kept on crashing on me. But today it seems to be working. So we might see Benjie and Bertie turn into children today. That's Diana with the white pantsuit with the blue trims. Sam standing beside her. That one with the auburn hair on the left, that's Meryl. She's evil. She's a lot of fun. She's always trying to find a husband, a wealthy husband, because that's Judy. Yes, Meryl wants a wealthy husband so she can see his ghost. And every time she's out travelling, she runs off autonomously looking to see if she can find one. Judy's actually got another daughter that I'm thinking of adding to the game. She had a little girl called Anne who is a clone of Judy. She's in the witch's village, and I got Judy from the witch's village to do this temporary experiment with elixirs, and it's turned into a massive game that's been going on for years. But I really would like to reunite Judy with her little girl Anne, but it'll have to happen after I split this household up, and it'll be after they've finished all the tombs, because I'm not going to risk adding any more Sims to this household. So there it is. Bertie is now a child. I've been giving a lot of Sims the eco-friendly trait lately. It's something I didn't use before, at least not very often. I think a heap of Sims and different saves have got that trait now. Seems to be interesting. I think it's like rebellious, except just a little bit different, slightly more mature. Time to eat cake. I can see that little Bertie definitely needs to go into create a sim or stylist to get some new outfits, but I don't dare do it while they're at home in Isla Paradiso. I'm going to have to try to take them to France or somewhere where the houses aren't quite so fully populated with sims and objects, and see if I can successfully give them new outfits there. Now that all of Bertie's cake's gone, it's time to clean up and get another cake out for Benjie, because they're twins. They need to age up together. Hayley has rushed home from work in the military career where she's a mess hall server. She's going to hold little Benjie for his cake to help Benjie blow out his candles. You know, the whole reason I took these 2 little toddlers to France earlier was because I'd had so much trouble trying to age them up here in Isla Paradiso that it decided it was impossible, and I would have a go in France, forgetting that you can't age anything up in a vacation world. So there we go. Hayley's there with Benjie and the cake, and the candles are lit. It's time to gather around and he can blow his candles out. There's Craig rushing down the steps. Doesn't want to miss out on all the fun. That's Sam in the black and the front here. See little Bertie there in his strange outfit that hasn't been changed yet. There it is, candles are going to get blown out right now. We'll soon have 2 little plant sim children in the household. We're going to have more birthdays in this episode because I want to get 2 of the babies aged up to toddler. But first, Hayley needs to put little Benjie down to let him turn into his child body. We've got a crash here, so fortunately I had saved after Bertie aged up and changed into a child. So we did this whole birthday thing for Benjie twice, but I'll only show it to you once. There he is. You'll notice he's got different clothes on next time you see him because he got a different outfit next time he aged up to child. Once both of the boys had aged up to child and all of their cake had been eaten, a group of them headed back to France to have a go at completing that pesky tomb. It was the same group of Sims that travelled this time as had travelled at the beginning of this episode. So Craig heads off to the adventure board that's in front of the base camp, and he checks for adventures, and he finds one. Nectar me crazy. I've been too busy to shop for non-essential groceries lately. I'm desperate for some high-quality nectar. ASAP! I'll pay some simoleons to any sim who brings me a bottle of excellent quality nectar, or better. Of course, he didn't have to look too hard. He had some in his inventory and he was soon back at the adventure board looking for another adventure. We rejected any adventures that required Craig to travel to another world, and eventually one popped up that he could fulfill himself because they've got a large garden in their house that they own in France, and he needed pomegranates, and he's got pomegranates in his inventory, so this is going to be another easy one for him to complete. It's called Global Nectar Making. I'm trying to create a new type of nectar made with fruits from around the world. I require 3 pomegranates. In exchange for these fruits, I will pay some simoleons. You can buy them from foreign stores, or even grow them yourself if you are a gardener. Deliver 3 pomegranates to Jolene Montague. We'll leave Craig there happily delivering his 3 pomegranates. Back at home, the 2 little girls have got very happy imaginary friends that they've been playing with, and we've bought them each a chemistry table, and they're working on finding the potion to turn their imaginary friends real. Neither of them have had any success so far. They're finding lots of potions, but not the ones they need. And we're having the occasional explosion. As you can see, little Geri's there, all singed and having a shower. Wendy just found something, but it wasn't the potion she's looking for. So we'll leave them at that. It'll take quite a while before they find what they're looking for, but we won't watch them continue. When it got dark, Judy managed to get herself abducted by aliens. Thank goodness it wasn't Craig or Sam, because they've each had alien babies recently and we don't need any more Sims in this household. 3 of the 4 babies back at home in Isla Paradiso are alien babies. Next time they go home, they will be aging 2 of the babies up. There'll be one of the alien babies, Craig's alien daughter, and the little girl that Judy cloned from Leah Dutil. Her name is Donna Dutil. Meanwhile, there are lots of activities for children to do, and here they are getting to know each other while they learn their blocks skill. Much easier to do this in France or one of the other World Adventure Worlds than to do it back home in Isla Paradiso. And there's Terry finishing off his toddler books. Looks like Wendy's going back to work on the chemistry table to find the potion she needs to turn her imaginary friend real. We won't turn the imaginary friends real just yet though. We don't want the game to explode when we go back to Isla Paradiso with 2 more Sims in it. That night I sent Craig out looking for insects, hoping to find a few fireflies, and I got really excited when I spotted these will-o'-the-wisp. They're so rare, you hardly ever come across them. And here they are in France, so naturally I told Craig to go catch one. And he did. Took him a bit of hard work, but he got one. And he hung on to it as well. It didn't bite him and get away. I noticed something red glowing in the garden, and I went and investigated and discovered that it was plasma fruit. I didn't know they sparkled at night. There's an empty tower room right next to where the cots are, and I decided to give Terry a little bit of privacy and put his potty chair in there. And of course, being a little toddler, he went in and used his potty chair and then sat in front of it to play with his imaginary friend for the rest of the day. See that door right down at the end between the two cots? That's the door into the room where Terry is playing with his imaginary friend, sitting in front of his used potty chair. And there's little Geri. She's trying to make an elixir to turn her imaginary friend real. Will she succeed? Of course she will. There goes Benjie. Ever since I realised that taking out the Go Here mod would give my plant sims their flower trail, I have been a very happy little Sims player. I like my plant sims with their flower trails. Without the flower trails, I wasn't very interested in plant sims. I check out the hallway from the other direction. See the two little girls, each working on their potions, and their mother Hayley doing push-ups in front of the treasure chests from Egypt. And all the while behind the scenes, I'm trying to get Craig into those tombs underneath the Nectary. And hey, look at that! Geri's just done it. She's just made the potion to turn her imaginary friend real. So now she's going to try to make extra good friends with her imaginary friend, so when it becomes alive, she can give it the potion and make it become real. But that won't happen in this playlist because there's no room for an extra sim in Isla Paradiso, which is a shame. There's a chain of adventures or opportunities that lead to the tombs under the Nectary, and Craig's always been able to do the first few up until after he catches the beetles, the Sharambo beetles. But when he delivers them to Egypt, it always drops out. And there's nothing I can do about it. Even giving it to him again using a mod, it just drops out immediately. And there you go. Wendy has now also made the potion to turn her imaginary friend real. So we don't need to do any more making of potions. But what we do have to do is go back home because Craig has now caught his beetles. The little girls have got to make friends with their imaginary friends now. And look at all those fireflies, and down on the bottom on the floor there is the will-o'-the-wisp that Craig caught. And there's a few butterflies. They didn't get many butterflies. And off they go home, back to Isla Paradiso. And we'll have another couple of birthday parties. We'll have two little babies aging up to become toddlers. There's still a dog barking there. Can't see her, but we can certainly hear her. There, Judy is holding little Donna Dutil. Now, Donna is the baby that Judy cloned using DNA that she got from Leah Dutil in France. There's Geri with her red and white stripy dress. It looks like the little plant sim boys have got plant sim outfits on now. Okay, they're all here, so it's time to blow the candles out, Judy. Here comes Benjie down the steps. Oh, there's Meryl. She's so funny when we get to see her in action. And Josephine's been behaving herself really well. She's the genie on the other side with that long back and short front to the skirt. She was banned from my games for about 6 or 7 years because she used to get into fights all the time. I don't think I've seen her rolling around the floor fighting with a household member in this game yet. There's Donna. She's blown the candles out with Judy's help. Now she's there lying on the floor, waiting to get her toddler body. Yes, all three of the genies in this story are from my original genies that I made when I first got Showtime and Supernatural, and you could make them in Create a Sim. And they were originally all only had the blue genie skin, but I then gave them makeovers to put them into this save. Each of them got a custom skin. So they're not so obviously genies, but they've still got all the powers of a genie. Let's go eat the cake now. At this point, Craig has got the opportunity to go to Egypt to deliver his Sharambo beetles, but when he gets to Egypt it's just going to drop out, which is a bit disappointing. I really would have liked to have completed those final 2 pieces of the tomb collection in this one save. I can do a bit of work in the background and he can go and get them from in another save and we can move them in here. Craig helps to clean up after Donna's cake has all been eaten because his little girl still needs to age up, and it's her cake that's coming up next. And Craig's little girl is Penny, and she is an alien, and her mother lived in the house next door because we captured the alien mothers of the alien babies in this save when we were in France and brought them home, but had to move them out because there wasn't enough room in this house for 2 more Sims. So there's Penny, and Judy is holding Penny so she can blow out her candles. Candles are blown out, so now Penny can lie on the floor and spin into her toddler body. We'll see what clothes she ends up with. There she goes. And that was a record-breakingly quick spin. But she's got her toddler body now, and so we're ready. We've done all the aging up we need to do. Next thing, we'll have a quick goodbye and a look around Isla Paradiso, and then Judy and Craig are going to head off on their own to get the final 2 parts of the tomb collection from France. There's so much cake being eaten here today, I'm wondering if any of them are going to gain any weight, because I'm sure they're eating cake after they've got their stuff to moodlet. But that happens a lot in these games with large families with lots of Sims that age up fairly close together. I haven't noticed anybody getting any bigger so far. I've already recorded the video for the final 2 parts of the tomb collection, and there's plenty of action happening. I will start making the videos after the end of this one. I won't show them leaving for France to you. They will just turn up there and we'll start work. It is quite a long process. There's a few things they've got to do in France before they move on to Egypt to deliver the beetles, and then there's a few different adventures they've got to do before they get the item they want and can go back to France to start working on the tomb. It was worth all the effort to make sure that I got it all videoed for you. Then at the very end, when they have finished and all the tombs are completed, put them all back together again in their new home in Dragon Valley. So they're all set up for a future playlist if I decide to do one. But this is their house in Isla Paradiso, and that's the house next door where the 2 alien mothers live. They're right at the edge of a cliff, looking over the water. Lots of islands. They own all of the hidden islands because they completed that in the first playlist. The second playlist has been devoted to them doing the tombs in World Adventures. In the end, there's only one tomb object that wasn't collected, and that was a dropper stone from China. We'll see if I decide to make them chase that if I ever get them playing in another playlist. But they won't be doing it in this one because I just wanted the tomb collections, which are those major items that are in the collection called Tomb Collections, and that is one of the alien mothers. She's heading off to work. I'm not sure where she works and I've forgotten her name, but you'll see them if you wait till the very end because they get packed up and taken to Dragon Valley as well. And this is the other alien mother, and she's in the music industry and she's just about to go inside the theatre. She's on her way to work. Looks like I caught her just in time. So this video is a little bit shorter than usual. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's just the tidying up bits before I take Craig and Judy off to do that final tomb. I'm going to have to do it in a new save because this save is completely broken and you just won't do it. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to give it a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and want to see the rest of the episodes to make sure you get notified. And bye bye for now, and happy simming.